Yo, yo.
Can I ask you about your interview with Putin?
With who?
With Putin.
Who is it? I've heard the name, but
With our President Putin.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I can't say anything.
What's goody? I am Wavy. I don't want to talk about Tucker Carlson going to Russia to interview Putin, which should be releasing later on today, and seeing how the mainstream media is breaking out, coming out against him, trying to get in front of this thing as they usually do, you know, trying to discredit him before he even gets a chance to put the interview out there. All right, but we're going to cover on a couple things. I'm going to cover on a few people on the left that have actually done interviews with Putin over the years and what's changing now that Tucker Carlson decides to go over there and do the same type of interview. He may potentially be sanctioned, I'm hearing. People are calling him, well, he's already been called a racist, but people are saying that he's in cahoots with Putin and this, that, and the third, but we'll get to all of that. Let's get to it.
Interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. We'll be doing that soon. We are not encouraging you to agree with what Putin may say in this interview, but we are urging you to watch it. You should know as much as you can. And then, like a free citizen and not a slave, you can decide for yourself. Anyone can watch the entire thing, shot live to tape and unedited, on our website, tuckercarlson.com. Elon Musk, to his great credit, has promised not to suppress or block this interview once we post it on his platform, X, and we're grateful for that.
So hopefully it's not suppressed. Hopefully it comes out later on today as it's been teased at. I have no problem with this. Go over, get as much information, bring it back to the people so that we can make a decision. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear what one side only has to say. We're only hearing what Zelensky's talking about, or we're only hearing what Joe Biden's talking about in terms of Putin. What's wrong with hearing what the guy has to say? What's wrong with going over there with a camera and filming it? Are they are there shelves in the grocery stores empty like they told us? Is the whole place falling apart and gray and decrepit like they told us? Or is it a completely different story? You know, I just want to see for myself. That way I can make my own informed decision. You know, I don't want to be told what to believe, what to do. I want to get as much information as I can, and then I can make my own opinion. So I could credit Tucker Carlson for going over there.
Populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth. Their media outlets are corrupt. They lie to their readers and viewers. And they do that mostly by omission. For example, since the day the war in Ukraine began, American media outlets have spoken to scores of people from Ukraine, and they've done scores of interviews with Ukrainian President Zelensky. We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in East.
They've just been money grabs. He's been coming and saying, oh, you send us money, you give us more money, or if you can't give us money, give us credit for it. You know, that's what he's coming and doing. He's coming here for a money grab. Every time that he's at the White House, he's requesting more and more money, and Joe Biden, for some reason, keeps on giving it to him.
Eastern Europe and pay for it. That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. Americans have a right to know all they can about a war they're implicated in, and we have the right to tell them about it because we are Americans too. Freedom of speech is our birthright. We were born with the right to say what we believe. That right cannot be taken away no matter who is in the White House.
Yeah. And like I've said, the left mainstream media is falling apart over this. All right. Like I said, they're trying to get out in front of it, trying to paint him as more of a racist. He's going over here because he's in bed with Putin and he's part of the GOP. They're really trying to get out in front of this and frame the narrative. And that's what I don't like. Just let the interview drop and let people get the information and make their own decision. You know, but this is the reason why I think a lot of people no longer trust in the mainstream media. Because you got corruption across on both sides. Fox News, MSNBC, and everything in between.
A massive shakeup in Kyiv coming as Putin is trying to court the MAGA GOP in the United States. In fact, one of the leaders of the MAGA GOP is in Moscow tonight. It's the man you see here with the MAGA leader Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson. Possibly there in Moscow to interview Putin. Definitely there as a Putin-supporting celebrity. Just listen to how Russian state media is breathlessly celebrating his visit.
Like, yeah, You know, even Hillary Clinton over here had something to say about it. And, you know, don't Douglas Mackey me. I'm just delivering the news.
I mean, he's like a puppy dog. You know, he somehow is, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with outlet, because he is a useful idiot. He says things that are not true. He parrots Vladimir Putin's pack of lies about Ukraine. So I don't see why Putin wouldn't give him an interview, because through him, he can, you know, continue to lie about what his, you know, objectives are in Ukraine.
Yo, why is this woman even still relevant? Like, you lost in 2016. Your husband ain't been president since, like, what? When did Bush go in? Like 2000? So your husband ain't been president like in 20-something years. Why is this? And you lost in 2016. Why do we still care what this woman has to say? I don't give no fuck about what Hillary Clinton got to say. All right, so let me pull up my list. All right. So liberals be like, all right, all of this is journalism. All right, we see him here. All right, Putin with an interviewer. I'll go through the names. I'm not 100% sure on in the pictures, but, you know, Putin here with an interviewer. Putin here with an interviewer, but here with Putin, potentially, this is treason. All right, over the years, Putin's done interviews. 2013, all right, I might butcher some of these names. John Danishevsky, all right, interviewed Putin for the AP. In 2016, John Micklethwait interviewed Putin for Bloomberg. 2017, Oliver Stone interviewed Putin for Showtime. 2017, Megyn Kelly interviewed Putin for NBC. 2021, Keir Simmons interviewed Putin for NBC. 2021, Hadley Gamble interviewed Putin for CNBC. Bet they weren't sanctioned. None of these people were sanctioned, but Tucker Carlson could potentially face sanctions. All right, here you go. Here's some footage.
Is Russia a democracy?
Россия — это, конечно, демократия.
In order to be a journalist today in Russia.
That wasn't treason. All right, let's skip ahead real quick, because over the years in America, we have spoken to controversial people at the height of controversy sometimes, okay?
You have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us?
This is Osama bin Laden, okay? It wasn't treason when this interview was taking place, right? Let's skip ahead a little bit. This interview, this wasn't treason. With Saddam Hussein, not treason. You know, let the interview drop. Let people make their own opinion, because when you try to get out in front of it, or you try to suppress it, or you try to, you know, knock it down before it even starts, you make certain people question things. You know, if you're thinking critically, you're going to question, why don't you want us to see this interview? What does he have to say that you have a problem with us hearing? Because we see the interview doesn't automatically mean that we support Russia. Doesn't automatically mean that we're a Putin lover. Doesn't automatically mean that we're MAGA GOP. You know what I'm saying? But let us get the information. Again, NBC News, was this treason?
May I just ask you a direct question? Did you order Alexei Navalny's assassination?
Of course not. We don't have this kind of habit.
They don't have that kind of habit, he says. But I can see another nation in this great world that we live in that is using certain departments of justice, certain departments, to go after their opponents. We're seeing it, and Putin just said that that's not him, well, to assassinate. All right? And here, exclusive Tucker Carlson could face sanctions over Putin interview. All right? Craziness. After just seeing all those people, I just listed a whole bunch of names, all those interviews, that's perfectly fine. But him doing an interview with Putin in 2024, no, we can't have that. All right? It's craziness. But if you stuck around this long in the video, as always, I'd appreciate it. One, if you hit the like, comment, join the conversation, and subscribe. And two, make sure you tune in for the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin, because that should be some good stuff. I may cover it depending on how long it is. I may just touch in on a few points, but I'm interested to see what he's got to say. And or what do you think? Do you think that this is you know, an end to our democracy and he should be sanctioned because MAGA, anything MAGA is wrong, anything anybody that got anything to do with Trump, guilty by association, and him going over there for Putin, is whatever. I mean, I'm just interested to see the interview just to learn a little bit of things, And then let me get to my final clip.
You know what I love about this, watching where President Trump is at in the polls? I love it because it shows the American people don't trust you guys. And they shouldn't, because you guys are full of it and everybody knows it.
Mainstream
There's a few
media.
honest journalists in this town, but they're very few and far between. You know how I know it wasn't an insurrection? Because he hasn't been charged with insurrection. And we can all see by the law there how he's facing up over 700 years in jail right now, how they've tried to destroy this man, destroy his businesses, that if they felt they had an inkling of a chance of convicting President Trump of jaywalking or insurrection, they would absolutely charge him. You know how else I know it's not an insurrection? Because this is the first insurrection in the history of the world where the people that were a part of it were unarmed. It's pretty hard to do if you walk around and see how many individuals are carrying firearms. All right. Last thing I want to say about how I know it's not an insurrection is because I actually listened to the words of the president. If you're trying to stoke an insurrection, you don't tell the people listening, hey, I want you to go over there peacefully and patriotically. All right. This is not an insurrection. What it is a party that's scared to death of this man because he's America first, and he's shown time and time again he's willing to bust up the swamp, and he continues to beat you like a drum.
He said it right there. Everything right there. It's a witch hunt. Y'all are just giving us a show right now because y'all know and understand, if you've been keeping up, Trump is leading, killing it in the polls. He's be easy and stay wavy.